Story 1. I accepted $10,000 from my ex's parents to end the relationship and cancel the wedding. The truth is, I would have done it for free to make sure they didn't end up my in-laws. I bet they would have paid it, though. Story 2. My parents were called into the principal's office and met with a teacher, and also the superintendent of the entire independent school district because of a rumor that I was the high priestess of an after-school satanic cult. Story 3. There is a sizable group of adults that believes I summon demons and can convince them to haunt their lives. What I find more disturbing is this rumor started with one grown woman who I hope the majority of society would just ignore and write off as a mentally unwell compulsive liar. Story 4. I was obsessed with a classmate's older brother. He and I used to smoke weed together. I was 16 and he was 22. If anything, he was a predator. He tried to sleep with me multiple times. Story 5. In high school, we had an excursion at a local water park. The next day, rumors were floating around the school, saying that I had been improperly touched in the pool by one of the older boys. I had not swum because I had my period. I was also a follower of Satanism in 10th grade, apparently. Story 6. That I was pregnant and my parents had disowned me. I had not even had sex yet. I moved away for university and talked to my mom weekly, if not more. I guess my great-aunt needed some gossip fodder, and my name popped up. She did not realize she was talking to my friend's mom. Story 7. That I was having an affair with the preacher. There were a lot of equally insane reasons for this. He put his hand on my shoulder to get my attention. I met the delivery truck at his house while he was preaching because a refrigerator was being delivered literally in the middle of him working and so on. My favorite reason was because I pulled weeds in his yard while he was out of town visiting his son who was dying in the hospital. Sensational stuff. Story 8. That I was a celebrity. Felt cool at first, but they kept insisting that they had seen me in something. This actually happened a couple of times. There was one person that wouldn't give up guessing movies. I was like, I feel like I would remember that part of my life, but they didn't stop. I think I finally said, you guessed it, and moved on with my day. Story 9. That I'm a Thai transgender woman. I'm a white woman, but I'll take the compliment. They are so beautiful. Second to that was the rumor I was a transgender woman. That was at a time when most people, including young left-leaning people, were openly very transphobic. I was at university. It was awful. It made me really hate people. It's also very insulting to transgender women. I was quite ugly back then and couldn't do my makeup or dress myself well. But it was very well believed, which actually worked out for me as it kept awful people away from me. Story 10. That I'm secretly rich because I never stress about money. Bro, I'm just too tired to show panic. My bank account is practically doing CPR on itself. Story 11. That I died. I crashed my motorcycle and no one could contact me for a bit. I got out of the hospital and I had a bunch of memorial messages posted on my Facebook. Story 12. That I didn't like going out because I'm fat. Meanwhile, I'm just introverted and enjoy my peace and alone time. But if you think I should lose weight, just say that, sister. Story 13. In middle school, a girl spread a rumor that I was gay because I was hanging out with my friend, who was a girl, at a party, so she told everyone she saw us kiss. Story 14. In high school, I was called a stuck-up snob because I was reserved and shy, and I was called a slut because my best friend was a guy who at the time wasn't openly gay, but I knew he was and about his crush on Henry Cavill. Story 15. That I had gotten married and had 4 kids and a 5th on the way. This was being circulated by a guy I hadn't seen in several years. I've never been married or pregnant. Story 16. That I was a drug dealer because of all the people at the house. The people were either my mother or sister dropping off or picking up my nephew while I was babysitting him. No one else. Laugh out loud. Story 17. During high school, even in the first years when we were basically still kids of 12 years old, all of my classmates were convinced that my best friend and I were a couple. They spread the rumor around the school. Back in my high school years, my friend and I were basically the only people of the opposite gender who were that close in my school, so it was easy for others to believe we were a couple. Story 18. I was accused of being a Satanist when I was in 8th grade because a classmate had seen me buy light gray scented candles, and apparently only Satanists use those. 2 weeks later, the guy came to school wearing a Marilyn Manson t-shirt, so I don't know what he was even talking about. Story 19. I am Canadian. I was born in Canada, and with the exception of 4 years, have lived my entire life in Canada. My father was in the Canadian Armed Forces. At one point, he was posted to Moscow during the Cold War years. After 2 years, we were posted back to Canada. Somehow the kids at our new school thought my brother and I were Russian. We don't have Russian accents, but we do have a Ukrainian last name, and we were on the east coast of Canada, where foreign names were rare. Probably didn't help that I knew how to swear in Russian and was eager to share that information. I don't know when they figured it out, but apparently, it took months. Apparently, they were saying things like, "Those Russian kids sure like to wear jeans." About us. Yeah, I am Canadian. Story 20. That I was dead. A buddy of mine changed high schools back in the day. I guess he thought it'd be easier to ingratiate himself by going for the sympathy vote. He told people I died in a car crash on a notoriously steep curve near my house. I didn't even have my learner's license at the time. He had taken time off to go to my funeral and give a eulogy and would mention he was off to supposedly visit and comfort my family. Imagine the surprise when a friend of a friend who went to that school actually met me months later at a party and told me all this. They were livid. I was more amused. I'd see him around afterward, but I never questioned or confronted him about it. He got enough crap for it when word of my status as alive got around. Story 21. That I had AIDS. The rumor was spread by my ex-boyfriend during my freshman year and his girlfriend at the time. Basically, we had a relationship because I thought he was single since he had no pictures on social media and told me he was single. I was just bored and thought, why not? Then I found out he was, in fact, in a relationship and told his girlfriend what happened with proof. She was very angry at me, even though I had no clue about them being a couple until weeks after the fact. Story 22. When I was in 8th grade, I had to meet with the parents and vice principal because I was a Satan worshiper and drug dealer. I was 13. Oh, and I have never done either. Story 23. In school, there was a plethora of rumors about me, some of which contradicted each other. For example, there was one that I had sexually transmitted diseases, but also that I was a virgin. Back when I was in school, this was considered a bad thing for some reason. There was also a rumor that I was a cross-dressing man, but another one that I secretly wanted to be a man. Then there were typical ones like that I had head lice. I did for the first year, then I got shaved bald in the summer holidays by my half-sister to get rid of them. Others were that I killed animals in my spare time or that I wrote pornographic fiction. Story 24. When I was in 7th grade, I was absent for 2 days. I don't exactly remember the reason why. It might have been an illness or maybe my family had to go out of town. But it was only 2 days. When I got back, everyone was shocked to see me because apparently a rumor had spread that I was dead. Story 25. I've always been pretty socially awkward and introverted. When I went to summer camp for a month, I kept to myself, which somehow led to me being quietly bullied. The craziest thing I overheard was someone saying that because I'm so quiet, it must mean that I'm gay. Still don't understand that one, to be honest. Story 26. That I was a Satanist and part of a satanic family. The reason? Coincidentally, my father and I both entered our emo phase around the same time in 2008 or 2009. I was 14 and he had just met his future wife who loves black and death metal. We probably looked like a satanic parody of Modern Family or something. We both loved the Black Parade, and he wore outfits inspired by Gerard Way when doing shows with his band. It's kind of corny looking back now, but I've always had a similar taste in music as both my parents, so it wasn't too weird then. Also, kids spread stupid rumors. Story 27. That I am cheating on my boyfriend with married men. I am polyamorous. My boyfriends know about each other and get along just fine. I'm not dating anybody who is married, but if I were, it wouldn't be via cheating. Like, I am not that desperate. Story 28. That I was an escort. I worked at a fine dining restaurant. One of the servers came and said, "Okay, I have to ask because I keep hearing the laughter that came out of me." I said, "No, I work here. I work at a dive bar up the road, and I am a cocktail server at a strip club." I'm not a dancer. I get bad stage fright. Also, if I were an escort, I wouldn't be a hostess at this place. I would be dining here with your husbands. Tell everyone exactly what I said, because I'm not repeating myself. Story 29. That people thought I was a furry. Nothing wrong with that though. I just drew dragons all the time and I tried to go for a more realistic look, which improved over the years. Story 30. That I'm a gold digger because I'm several years younger than my husband. Had a few of his cousins angrily confront me at a family event a while ago. Husband told them to leave. The truth is, I make roughly the same amount of money he does, and due to an inheritance, I'm a multimillionaire. As far as money, I invested much more into the relationship. Story 31. There was a rumor at an old job of mine that I had lost one of my testicles to cancer. But part of the rumor was that I am really sensitive about it, so people wouldn't ask me about it. So it went on for years before I found out about it. Story 32. I'm a fairly androgynous queer cisgender woman. My family has decided I'm secretly a transgender man. My kid brother texted saying he's happy he has another brother and we can go hunting or whatever cool things guys do that apparently I couldn't as his sister. I don't know. Story 33. Apparently, in middle school, a rumor started that I growled at someone, like I was running around my school and growled at someone. I did not hear of this rumor until college. Followed me. Story 34. Bio mom tried starting a rumor at her church that I had run away and was having an affair with a much older married man who wouldn't allow me to talk to her because he was emotionally manipulating me when I was a teen. In reality, I was in foster care because she was physically abusive. The older man was my foster dad, who, along with his wife, my foster mom, loved me unconditionally and ended up adopting me after several years. But that version of events wouldn't have played as well to her Bible study group. Story 35. That I did meth in middle school. It's because I have a skin-picking problem, completely unrelated to meth. I do take Adderall now, though, so maybe they were close enough. Story 36. That I was pregnant. I just got fat and wore a lot of crazy push-up bras. It was the early 2010s. I've long since lost the weight, ditched the crazy bras, and I've still never been pregnant. Story 37. There was a rumor going around my high school best friend's Baptist church that I was a witch because I wore trousers and a black shirt and was kind of goth. We are actually still friends to this day. Story 38. That I am a vampire, that I have no soul, that I once set a house on fire, that I commit vandalism, that I worship Satan. I could go on. Being a nerdy redhead in the Bible Belt is difficult. Story 39. A group of friends from middle school started a rumor that I was gay and brought it with them to high school. I basically spent the next 4 years being called the slur. The weirdest part of it was that people were claiming that I wished my girlfriend had a penis. I didn't even have a girlfriend at the time. Story 40. I give oral sex behind the dumpster at a bar called the Zoo. I could barely even say the word penis without giggling and turning red. Oral sex by giant garbage bins. Never. I think a boy whom I denied sex with because he didn't have a condom was the one to spread the rumor. Forget you, Randy. Story 41. When I moved 3 states away, a rumor went around that I got pregnant. It was 8th grade, when actually I was abandoned by my mother after my father's death, and Child Protective Services had to find me placement. My sister gained custody of me and raised me. Story 42. In high school, a girl I didn't have any problems with told everyone in the middle of home economics that I decided to start masturbating with a pencil. I found out through my cousin, who is a few years younger. Story 43. 2 still make me shake my head. Asterisk, I'm a cocaine dealer and hitman for Cash Money Records. Asterisk, I got 4 girls, all under 18, pregnant within the same week, and I am leaving the country. Story 44. That I was organizing stuff in church for money. Like, who would be paying me? God. The annoying church people were a big contribution to me losing my faith. That I fell off the stairs? It's dumb because it did not happen, and people that have nothing to do with me were talking about it. Very random. And that I was gay and made out with my friend. I'm not, and I didn't. I wasn't even at the party where it supposedly happened. People are so bored with their lives. Story 45. There have been all kinds of rumors about who I am apparently dating. The most confusing was a good friend's in-progress ex-wife. The divorce was still in full swing, and someone made a comment to me that we were dating. It was not the reason for the divorce. I had just jumped as soon as possible. They couldn't give a reason why they thought that. Story 46. Not me so much, but my husband had an insane reputation at the job where we worked together, and how we met, that he would get into fights all the time and beat people up. Lots of people were scared of him and asked me if I was sure about dating him. In reality, while he has been in some fights, he never started them and will try to walk away first before engaging. He's very intimidating in person, though, so luckily, once we moved away from the city we worked in, I stopped getting asked if I was okay all the time. Story 47. That I was secretly straight and wanted to be intimate with my female best friend. So in 7th grade, it was common knowledge in my school that I was gay. I don't know. The kids didn't have anything better to do except ask me about my sexuality. One girl from my class was very popular. The whole school knew her. She was also the student president. And this girl was my best friend. And naturally, we went out shopping and talking about stuff. But her boyfriend, she was in a relationship, was so jealous he thought I was trying to steal his girl. Then the rumor started that I wasn't gay and was faking it so that I could get closer to girls in my school. They still bullied me because I was gay. Well, my school time was weird.